Hi, my name is David Steele. I'm a product manager here at Arcturus. What I'm going to show you how to do today is to use our provisioning system. Provisioning is a part of our management middleware, and it's used to manage one or many remote devices through a series of file transfers. So the page you're looking at right now is the login page of our UC53281 device. It uses our management middleware. So I'm just going to log into it using the username admin and the password admin. Then I'm going to go over to the Admin tab page and select Provisioning from the left-hand column bar. Let's have a quick look at the fields, and I'll explain what the fields mean here. This is the provisioning interface. Basically, it has an on or off function, so enable or disable provisioning, so I'm going to enable that right now. It has a method and authentication. In this case, we're using an internal management middleware tool that we refer to as WebBot. WebBot is an SSL-enabled web client that can connect to a remote web server and pass credentials along. The credentials it's going to use right now, according to this command line, are UCSIM as the username and admin as the password. WebBot will also attach some other unique credentials when it tries to log into the server as well. It'll pass the firmware version that the device is running, and will also pass the serial number of the device along. This way, a web server can actually parse that information and create a custom configuration file for the device dynamically on the fly. The next field we're going to look at is the server, IP or FQDN, fully qualified domain name. In this case, we're using pim.tor.sipgear.net, which is an internal server. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to an IP address, 192.168.1.31. And that's the IP address of my laptop. My laptop that I'm using right now has a web server on it, and I can just make sure that that web server is running by actually just entering the IP address in my web browser, and there we go. I get a little message back saying it works. Now, unfortunately, my web server doesn't actually support SSL, so what I'm going to do in the method and authentication line is just remove the S from the HTTPS. So now we'll just use plain text. So now I've configured the method and authentication, the server, and now I'm going to configure the file name that it's going to go download. So I'm going to download a file called Dave_FWD, and this is a file that is fairly straightforward. It's just going to configure an FWD account on this device. So this is a voice over IP device. I'm going to press apply, and what this will do now is it'll write this configuration into the Flash database. Now you'll notice when the web page returned, the URL line here has changed now, and it now reflects the method and authentication that I've selected, the IP address, and also the file name. So what I can do to test this is I can just copy that, and then I can just paste it into a tab in my web browser, and now my web browser should download the file. So let's take a look at this file for a minute. As you can tell, if you're familiar with Linux scripting, this is a Linux script file. So this means that it has a lot of access to the whole system, not just our management middleware. So for example, right here we can see that at the top of this script file, one of the things it's doing is it's going to be sending a message to the log file saying received information and be writing it to Flash. Let's look at just what is writing to Flash at this, for example. We see a bunch of these setBenv commands. setBenv stands for set bootloader environment variable. The environment variables are actually a database of MIB values that are used by our management middleware to contain different system parameters. I'll give you a good example here. Right here, so the MIB value, so the MIB, the management information based value for 254.11.1.1 is actually a table. That table contains 4 accounts, and those 4 accounts are the telephony accounts on the device. So here are all the telephony accounts on the device. And if we notice, we just scroll along here, here's the Free World Dial-Up account. It's account number 3 in this case. The other accounts will just remain blank. So it's got my configuration information, it's got my account name, it's got the server it's going to go and connect to. So let's jump back to the configuration page here. Now let's just check to see if we've downloaded the file yet. And the system has downloaded the file from my laptop, it's parsed it, it's written it to flash, and it's reloaded its configuration. And if we go to the home page, we can tell that the device is now online and it's ready to place a call. Provisioning is a pretty powerful tool. It can allow you to manage one or several thousand devices through the simple use of a web server. It's secure, it's authenticated, uses SSL, and the whole system can be scripted to happen on boot, on demand, once a day, once a week. And since it downloads a script file, it's extremely extensible. It means it has complete access to the whole Linux system inside, not just the management middleware.